The Crypt Keeper desktop version can be downloaded directly from our website. Start by visiting the TBGTOM website. From the home page, scroll down until you reach the Crypt Keeper section and then select the option to get the cemetery software. This will take you to the desktop version page where you'll find information about the software along with your available options. If you're ready to install the Crypt Keeper, you can download the current desktop version directly from this page. If you haven't purchased the software yet, you'll also find an option here to purchase your license. Once you've downloaded the installation file, you're ready to begin installing and setting up the Crypt Keeper on your Windows computer. From the home page of the desktop application, you'll find statistics about the data you have in your account, as well as many options to access and add to your data. At the top of the home page, you'll find a series of toolbar icons. These will be your most used options: searching your records, the purchaser's manager, viewing your maps, running reports, and backing up your data. On the left side of the home page, you'll find additional features and options such as inputting new records, accessing existing records, creating and editing your maps, creating and editing cemeteries, creating and editing lot types, creating and editing custom data fields, and much more. Adding a new cemetery record is designed to keep all of the information associated with a grave location together in one place. At the very top of the screen is the grave location information. This is where you'll identify the physical location of the grave within the cemetery, using information such as the section, lot, and grave. Below that, the screen is divided into several easy-to-identify areas. On the left is the information about the person who is interred at this location. This area is used for the individual's personal information and the details associated with their interment. To the right is the purchaser information. This allows you to maintain information about the person who purchased the grave or cemetery property, which may of course be different from the person who was interred there. At the lower left is the custom data area. These fields give you the flexibility to maintain additional information that may be important to your particular cemetery. You can define and configure these fields yourself through the custom data field settings, allowing the Crypt Keeper to adapt to the information you need to maintain. And finally, at the lower right is a large notation area. This provides plenty of room for additional notes, comments, historical information, or anything else about the cemetery record that doesn't fit naturally into one of the other fields. Finding an existing cemetery record is just as easy, with several different ways to search depending on the information you have available. A keyword search lets you search using information associated with the cemetery records, making it useful when you know a name or other identifying information. You can also search by a range of dates. Date searches can be performed using birth dates, death dates, interment dates, or purchase dates, giving you several ways to narrow the results. If you know where the grave is located, you can search by grave location as well. You can enter the complete location or just part of the location when you don't have all of the information. Once you've selected a record from the search results, the Crypt Keeper provides several additional tools for working with that record. You can move backward or forward through other cemetery records in grave location order without having to return to the search screen each time. The buttons at the top of the screen provide quick access to additional options. You can print the displayed record, locate the grave on the cemetery map, or enter the editing screen when information in the record needs to be changed. Together, these search and navigation tools make it easy to locate a cemetery record and then continue working without having to repeatedly start a new search. The Crypt Keeper also allows you to attach images directly to individual cemetery records. Images can be added from files already stored on your computer, making it easy to associate photographs and other documentation with the appropriate grave record. There's no need to resize an image before adding it. The original can be virtually any size. When imported, The Crypt Keeper automatically reduces the image to 1 megabyte or less before storing it in the database, helping conserve database space. You can add multiple images and view them whenever you return to the cemetery record. One important advantage of the desktop version is that there is no limit on the number of images you can store with an individual record. This differs from the Crypt Keeper online version, which is limited to 5 images per cemetery record. This makes the desktop version particularly useful when you want to maintain a larger collection of photographs, scanned documents, or other images associated with a cemetery record. Once you've located a cemetery record through the search feature, you can also find that grave directly on the cemetery map. Simply click the map button at the top of the record, and the Crypt Keeper will open the appropriate cemetery map and locate the grave for you. To make it easy to spot, the selected grave will blink in magenta, allowing it to stand out from the surrounding grave locations. Once the map is displayed, you can adjust the zoom level to see either a closer view of the surrounding graves or a wider view of the cemetery. If you maintain more than one cemetery, you can also use the drop-down on the toolbar to quickly switch from one cemetery map to another. These features make it easy to go directly from a cemetery record to its physical location on your cemetery map. The Crypt Keeper also includes tools for creating and maintaining graphical maps of your cemeteries. When creating a map, you begin by defining the size of the canvas you want to work with. This gives you a grid that can then be designed to represent the actual layout of your cemetery. Individual spaces on the canvas can be assigned as graves, allowing you to build the cemetery layout one location at a time. As you design the map, you can also add paths, roads, and other open areas. These additional elements help make the finished map easier to understand and provide a more realistic representation of the cemetery. For larger cemeteries, assigning every grave individually could become very time-consuming. To make the design process much faster, the Crypt Keeper provides several bulk assignment tools along the left side of the window. These tools allow you to assign groups of spaces at once rather than having to configure every individual cell. You can use them to quickly establish larger sections of graves and then make individual adjustments wherever they're needed. The goal isn't necessarily to create a perfectly scaled engineering drawing. Instead, you're creating a useful visual representation of the cemetery that makes grave locations easier to identify and understand. As you continue designing the map, you can combine grave locations with roads, paths, and unused areas to create a layout that closely resembles the way visitors actually experience the cemetery. Once the basic design has been established, individual grave spaces can be associated with the corresponding locations in your cemetery records. This graphical map then becomes another way to navigate your cemetery information. Instead of relying only on names or grave location descriptions, users can visually see where graves are located in relation to the surrounding cemetery. And because the map can be edited, the design can continue to grow and change along with the cemetery. The Crypt Keeper also includes a powerful custom reporting system, allowing you to create reports based on the information stored in your cemetery records. You can choose which fields you want included in the report and arrange them in the order that best suits your needs. You can also define criteria to limit the report to only the records you're interested in, rather than always reporting on the entire cemetery database. Once your selections are complete, the Crypt Keeper generates the report using your chosen fields and criteria. This gives you the flexibility to create anything from a simple cemetery listing to more specialized reports using the information you've collected over the years. Several areas of the Crypt Keeper can be customized to match the way your cemetery operates. The Custom Data Fields section allows you to create and maintain the additional fields that appear on your cemetery records. This gives you a place to store information that's important to you but isn't included among the standard Crypt Keeper fields. You can also add or edit the cemeteries maintained within the software, allowing you to manage multiple cemeteries within the same database. And the lot types section lets you define the different types of cemetery property that you use. These setup options allow the Crypt Keeper to be customized around your cemetery and the information you need to maintain. The Crypt Keeper also includes the ability to create customized cemetery deeds. You begin by creating a deed template. The template allows you to design the standard wording and information that you want to appear whenever a deed is generated. Within the template, you can incorporate information from your cemetery records, allowing the Crypt Keeper to automatically insert the appropriate details when the deed is created. Once your template has been established, generating a deed becomes a simple process. From the appropriate cemetery record, select the option to create the deed. The Crypt Keeper combines your template with the information stored in that record to produce a completed deed for that particular cemetery property. You can then review the finished document and make any necessary adjustments before printing it. Because the basic language and formatting are already contained in your template, you don't have to recreate the deed from scratch each time. This provides a convenient way to produce consistent cemetery deeds while still allowing you to customize the template to meet the needs of your particular cemetery. And that's just a brief look at what the Crypt Keeper desktop version has to offer. With tools for managing cemetery records, images, maps, reports, deeds, and much more, the Crypt Keeper is designed to make cemetery management easier and more organized. Thank you for watching, and we hope you'll give the Crypt Keeper a try.